Today is my favorite day, the day when I get to play with toys. Scale models. Scale models. I get to play with scale models today. Today what we're going to do is do a little wrenching on the ROCHobby MB Scaler. Went out wheeling last time and broke a little bit. I'm John Holmes with Holmes Hobbies. Thanks for tuning in. So I went out wheeling this past weekend at night, about 10 p.m. or so. It was kind of dark, and I brought my buddy along. Actually, we were just in the backyard playing. Okay, we didn't go anywhere. We're just playing on the backyard rocks, and he wanted to wheel some rigs. But he's not exactly a professional or has really ever driven any RC cars at all in his life. And we proceeded to rip one of the links out, not being very gentle on this guy. I mean, we wheeled hard enough that it's all scratched down the side. We lost the tools. Fortunately, I found them and may have scraped up our scale driver's face just a little bit. The resale value is ruined. We will never get our investment back. So what I need to do today so that I can go play with it again, of course, is fix this 4-link in the back. And I'm going to assume that it probably is going to end up pulling out more links. The other one that I got pulled out the 3-link, the pan hard. This one pulled out a 4-link on the rear. So it's kind of one of those things that, maybe they over tighten a couple of them. Maybe a couple of them are going to pull out like that and fail. Maybe they won't. You never know. But what I'm going to do today to fix it is use these Traxxas ball ends. It is part number 5347. They are the Revo ball ends, pretty standard parts for crawlers at this point. I also picked up one of the, I don't even know what to call it. It's a tool from Team Garage Hack that helps you thread ball links onto the end of your links. Ball ends, what are they called? Let me know in the comments. But it's this really slick tool that he designed made out of steel, probably over-engineered. And as you can see, it goes into a standard drill or even a 6-way driver. So I'm going to use a 6-way at first. Probably is going to be enough leverage for me to get it done. Really cool tool there. Glad to have it. It was perfect timing for it to come in because I needed to redo some links. Let's see, besides that, you can also get yourself a set of ball pliers, which I've never needed in my life. I totally could have done this with a set of needle nose. You can too, however, it'll be nice to have for the occasions when I build shocks. They've got the little shock shaft grabbers back here. I never build shocks hardly at this point in my life. So I'm likely only going to use it for this one video and then that'll be it and I'll lose it somewhere. But at any rate, you will at least need some new ball ends to fix the ball ends that have probably pulled out on your ROCHobby already. So let's get into it. The first thing that I will do is put the ball into the ball end, the link rod, the rod end. There's got to be a certain name for it. And I've never used this tool in my life before, so we'll see how good I am at doing that. I'm sure it's going to push through something like that. So we need to put the ball on. Oh, we're going to have to orientate it properly, which I probably won't even be able to show you on camera. Let's see if that picks up. Just like so, the ball sits there, and then we put this over and voila. Okay, that was a lot easier than using needle nose pliers. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But since we got that ball installed in our rod end, now we can use this cool tool from TGH. And it goes in one way or another. There we go. Oh, look at that. That is a snug fit too. Not too snug, but just snug enough that it, yeah, that's gonna work good. Kudos to Team Garage Hack on that. That's a neat little tool. And oh, look at that. It fits into my little 6-way screwdriver, which should give me enough leverage. All right. So I got the little link. We're just going to have to, there's no good way to work on these rigs. We're just going to gently set it on his head. He should be able to support the weight of it. So you can see it's got pulled out from right there. You want to definitely clean the plastic off. Having a knife handy. Okay, one more tool, have a knife handy. In this case, it's an old timer that I have overheated the blade on so that the temper would be ruined. Totally on purpose, yes. And what you want to do is make sure you scrape out all the loose plastic from the last rod end that got stripped out. And the reason to do that is because if your threads are completely filled with the plastic, you're not actually going to get good threads formed into your new plastic piece. It's going to essentially make it to where it just kind of like wallows out the entire thing as you thread it on, and then you're just going to have it pull out again, unfortunately. So make sure you clean all the thread off. There was actually one plastic piece that I unwrapped from almost the entire thing that was one big piece of cut plastic. So yeah, clean those ends off if they pull out. And the moment of truth, let's see if there's enough leverage and I can work on this without absolutely breaking the body. This is terrible. I almost need like a block to work on, or not be lazy and take the screw out of the body on the front and just take the body off. But no, we're not going to do that. Oh, all right, so the parts that I got together won't work. I'll be right back. I'm going to have to go through some of my old stash. So I found out that the JATO rod ends will not work, but I did find that I had some old Emax or T-Max rod ends in my stash, and they have the 3mm threaded spot on them. And what we will do is thread this guy on, but looking at it, I can tell it's reverse threaded. So to make it easy, I actually took it out of the rig. And we'll just thread this side on, reverse threaded. Now, there's no indication that it's reverse threaded. There's no mark on the actual thing, and there's no place to put a wrench to hold it on, so I don't know why they would have reverse threaded these. Honestly, that is not a feature if you have no easy way to adjust them like a turnbuckle. C'est la vie. It is what it is. So we're gonna thread this back in, normal threading on this side. Again, there's no indication of which side is which, so yeah, take it for what it is. We'll just thread that guy back in, and I guess since it's reverse threaded, let's see what happens. Is it gonna unthread? Yeah, it's not unthreading, so we're just gonna do like this. And ooh, yeah, they may have stripped these from the factory pretty good. All right, and that looks like it's centered, so the length is proper. Now that it's centered. Yep, close enough at least. And then what I need to do is get my tools in here and take all this apart, which requires either taking the wheels off, or I may be able to sneak a little cheat here and take the C-hubs off, the chubs. So we're gonna try that first. See if we can bypass some of this work to get to our link mount. Yes, I'm liking how this is going so far. I mean, of course, I wouldn't want a link to be the first thing to break on a vehicle, although it is better than any of the driveline. None of the driveline is showing any signs of weakness, which I know how to fix that. I have a hand-wound motor that we specially made, either a 15 or 16 turn Crawlmaster Pro 550 that I had my winder, Dallas, wind for me. When I say my winder, he just works for me. I don't own him or anything. But my dude that knows how to wind motors, yes. So that was really clean. They've got the bearings in here installed. So I'm going to be able to just simply pull this C-hub off sideways, inspect how it looks like they over-tightened everything. And now I can actually get my tools in. And hey, look at that. I took the wrong one off, but I'm going to just take them both off and tell you that that's exactly what I meant to do. I was so involved in just taking that C-hub off that I wasn't watching which side, which honestly I got to get to the link mount on both sides. It was probably a good idea. That way you can see what I'm doing too, right? It just slides right off, unless it's stuck in the locker. Yeah. How smashed is he? All right. So that one took a lot of force to pull out. I'm also noticing that the bearings are pretty tiny in here, honestly. They're not going to last too long. We don't want to wheel this thing too awfully hard, but real tight fit in the locker. We can kind of test the front to see how much slop that there's going to be. Yeah, it's a real tight fit in the locker, which is a good thing. Looks like they may have even had to sand it down a little bit for it to fit. Better to be tight tolerances in a locker than loose, because the locker is one area where it does wear out if there's any sort of slop. All right, we're gonna cinch this down and then make sure it looks centered, which it does not, because the balls are a little bit different size. So I wonder if this ball tool, these ball pliers, are gonna allow me to pop the ball out. It looks like if I do it backwards, yes. Maybe I can get these guys crammed in here well enough. Boop, look at that. All right, they're pretty handy, I'll give them that. This may be the fastest that I've installed balls. Just a little weird. We should probably be doing this out of the vehicle instead of in the vehicle. I won't fault my new ball link pliers for being difficult. And hey, look at that. As most companies have done, they have copied the Traxxas ball link design so well that their balls just slip right in. It's a good day when your OEM balls slip into a Traxxas rod end. And I should note that this nut and screw are not reverse threaded. At this point, if they're gonna have unmarked reverse threaded links, I wouldn't put it past them to just have random reverse threaded parts on there, but you know, never, jeez. All right, so while I'm complaining about things, the shocks on this rig are, they get dry, let's just call it that. There we go, look at there. Now they're fine, they're lubricated, but sitting on a shelf, yeah. Stiction is, I guess, what it's generally called in the industry. They got a lot of stiction. So I wouldn't mind trading these guys out to something a little nicer. Possibly like the Vanquish shocks that I've already ordered. There we are. Yeah, that was definitely a better way of getting at that screw instead of taking the wheels off, because the wheels have these 5 teeny tiny little screws that hold on the center cap, and then you got to take the rest of it off once you get the center cap off. And those little screws, let me tell you, not fun. That's the reason why my wrists are hurting, because I attempted that method at first. And after 2 of them, I was like, nah, that's not gonna happen. Not within the time constraints that we have. Which, speaking of time constraints that we have, I unfortunately will have to wrap this up as soon as this is installed. Because I got other things to do. But what we have now is a rig with a very smashed driver. Oh, the shock's already sticking again. There we go. Now they're good. Our 4-link is fixed. This one's ready to go. I need to fix a link on the other rig as well. But now that I know which ball ends that we use and to look out for reverse threaded ones, we know what to do. So my U.S. Navy serviceman wants to bid you adieu. Oh, let's clean his face off. Huh! Pow, 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 pow! Thanks for tuning in today. Have a good one.